All right, and we are live Friday afternoon. We got Todd Fife and Vince Cavalier here, and I want to introduce these two amazing guys. Vince has just joined us recently at Exp Realty, courtesy of Todd Fife. This is an important meeting, guys, and I'm very excited to have both of you here because this is such a big opportunity for people that I don't think people realize. But in this case here, we have three of us that are all independent brokerages that have converted our brokerages over and joined forces with what we were doing, and now we've added everything that EXP is offering us, and it's so exciting to see top producers like yourself, right? I had somebody make a comment the other day, and they said to me, they said, "Well, is there any good producers that are joining, or is it just like new people, or is it whatever?" And I'm like, "Wow, you don't get like this is huge, right? We've got great, credible people like the two of you." So, Todd, welcome from Fernie, BC, and Vince, you're in Kamloops, right?
Yes, I'm in Kamloops, sunny Kamloops, where it's not really sunny. It's kind of cloudy today, but yeah, I'm in Kamloops. So
Yeah.
uh, for those people that don't understand where we are in terms of the proximity, we're about 3.5 hours east of Vancouver on the Trans-Canada Highway, and about 2 hours west of Kelowna, northwest of Kelowna,
Yeah.
down Highway number 97.
Yeah. And Todd, you're where? Tell us where you are exactly out there.
We're in the center of the universe, Pierre, Fernie, British
Yeah.
Columbia.
Beautiful. Beautiful part
For
of country.
geographic purposes, it's in the very southeast corner of BC, almost on the Alberta border,
Yeah.
and just a small little ski resort town, and great for lifestyle and great for real estate.
Yeah. And this is what's cool about this is that I'm in Kingston, Ontario, but yet I've grown my new team, if you want to call it, to those, to the other side of the country, which is really cool because when I was running a team before, it was just all local, right? And now we're across the whole country from Quebec right across to BC. Now, Vince, we wanted to bring you on here because Todd and I have done this before, but I wanted to bring you on here to tell your story and to tell people where you came from and what were the pain points, because you did make a move, right? And then we'll transition from there. So maybe give us a little bit of history of, from your background.
Well, I've been a realtor for 28 or 29 years, and I came through the ranks like most of us did, starting with the bigger brokerages, and then developed a team. And then at one point in 1990, in 2006, Katrina and I opened up our own office and basically started an independent brokerage from complete scratch, which is kind of how I met you guys, through our independent brokerage network. And it was all going really, really well, and it has been going really, really well. But as I evolved the company and we evolved real estate and all the things that are happening in the technology world and in the brokerage business with respect to the liabilities and the FinTrack and the policies and the procedures and the compliance, I started to look at EXP a little bit differently from when I was first introduced to it 3 years ago. And that's so the pain point was the managing of the business aspect of the day to day, which wasn't just, it was fine, but I don't think that it was as good as it is going to be now. And already now it's like amazing just taking that off my plate and the energy that I've gotten back.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, you got contacted 3 years ago. So this is kind of neat because somebody contacted you 3 years ago. I contacted you about 14 months ago. And timing wasn't right. And then you started having conversations with Todd because at that point you were having some of those pain points, right, with the brokerage and so maybe tell us about maybe the gate being open after a while rather than, because sometimes people it's just not the right time, right? So what made it the right time for you?
Well, I think in fairness, when I was first introduced to it, the person who introduced me to it, his approach left me with the wrong impression of what EXP was all about. And that's not to be negative in any respect, because I think that as even from when I first joined on November 1st to now today, which is like whatever it is, 10 weeks later, I've learned even more about what's happening and how the system is even better than I thought it was going to be. So what I learned 3 years ago was just, I think was just, it was poorly shared with me, the value and the advantages. And then as I grew and got into it more and more and more and started to really understand more about what EXP was all about, I realized that the pain points for me were the brokerage, not selling real estate, because freaking selling real estate's fun.
Yeah.
But if I was a great recruiter, I would have a bigger brokerage. The fact is that I didn't get into this to attract people to my network or to the company. I got into it because I just really wanted to go back to selling real estate. And once I got into the network, I realized, holy cow, there's a lot of people that are not only keen to help me, but there's a lot of people that need my help. And so I was able to sort of see it from a different point of view. So what was a pain point has now become actually a positive. Because this week we got our own brokerage. So we have our own branch office, which is really significant. I think you have a branch office as well, Pierre. And so the concept of being a cloud was a myth to me. Yeah. I thought that's all I could do. And when the reality of it is I still have a brick and mortar space.
Yeah, exactly. So the brick and mortar space, I mean, of course we don't need it. And I'm not at the office very often anymore now that we've made the switch. Because not having that brokerage side of things, we're not managing, all the accounts and the banking and the accounting and all that kind of stuff. We're not having to do that, like we were before. Now we're getting to do things like this, having conversations with agents that need our help, growing our teams and things like that. Now, Todd, I'm going to come back to you, Vince, but Todd, maybe give us a little bit of, kind of your situation back then when you had your brokerage. And, I contacted you, and then, the timing wasn't right. And then 3 months later, I get a text message from you and you're like, okay, where do I sign up? Which was hilarious because I was like, okay, he sat on the nail long enough that now it hurts so much, he's got to get off the nail. So what was your turning point?
Yeah, I guess same thing, Pierre, as what Vince said, and what you said, the timing has to be right. You have to understand where you're at in your business. You have to be fair with yourself as well. And I think for me, it was me getting in the way of the decision more than anything else. I was probably ready before that, even a year before. But, in real estate, it's certainly easy to let your ego get in the way of, making the right decision. Yeah. So, I was heavily invested in, the brokerage and the team and the business and the building and all of those things. And it's like, okay, I'll keep sweating blood here just to do what it takes to keep it going, because I couldn't see clearly.
Yeah. Oh, we're losing him. Yeah, we've lost them. Your voice, Vince, you still there?
Can't hear you, Todd. Yeah, I'm still here. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll go back.
I can totally echo his sentiments about being ready probably a lot sooner than I really was. But I think some point to kind of go back to what you were talking about, Pierre, about sometimes you're just not ready. As entrepreneurs and as an entrepreneur, first getting into real estate in 1993 was entrepreneurial because I left a regular Monday to Friday kind of job. But then stepping out and creating my own brokerage, and then stepping out now one more step and closing my brokerage and pivoting it to EXP. People go through an emotional state that I think that is underestimated. And I'm certainly not a psychologist or a shrink, but I think sometimes we need to check our ego at the door and really do what's in the best interest of ourselves first and foremost. And we tend to probably be more cognizant of what other people are thinking as opposed to what we're thinking. And I know that initially I had a little bit of pushback from some of my peers for the move that I was making, but I can tell you now that's not happening. In fact, my phone is ringing going, what have you done differently? Your attitude's different. You're busier. You're just having more fun. And the truth is I am having more fun because I found this new zest for real estate again. I mean, this is pretty cool stuff that what I'm part of. I still get to own a business. I still get to run a company. I just don't have to do the day-to-day BS of managing a trust account and managing the policies and the procedures and the compliance issues. I still manage my clients. I still manage my team. I still manage realtors, but I'm just doing it differently.
Yeah. I had an interesting thing last week. I had one of my agents that was on my team. She was saying that, you know, she had an issue. She was dealing with a bunch of stuff, and I had no idea what was even going on because she was dealing with it with our broker of record, right? And those were the things that I would have had to have dealt with before. So me, you know, 15 months later, when I look at what it's done for me, is that it's freed up a lot of my time. So now I can do things that are actually more profitable, like sell homes if I want to sell home. You know, spend more time meeting agents like you guys and helping agents like you guys grow your company. But now we're just growing at a crazy rate. Like Todd and I were just talking earlier, and he said, you know, just before Christmas, you posted that you hit 100 agents, and now we're, you know, by the end of this week, we'll be at 130 agents. So that's grown in a month. We've added like 30 agents, and we got a whole bunch of people coming on because now it's just growing and growing and growing. Now, what did you like best? Then what, like, of all the pillars that EXP has, like the stocks, the revenue share, the freeing up your time, you know, the low cost for the caps and all that, what was kind of your interest? Because everybody's got something different that they like. What did you like best?
Well, initially, the two or three things that I really enjoyed, aside from the fact that I was relinquishing the liability, because that was one of the top things for me for sure. But, you know, maybe somebody who's listening to this or watching this is just an independent realtor and doesn't have that responsibility and goes, I don't really care about that stuff. It's not a factor. The fact of the matter is that the management team, which in theory is my boss, who is the managing broker, or in Ontario, the broker of record, these guys are really sharp people. So now not only do I have Todd to fall on because he's an old managing broker, I've now got, you know, in my case, I've got Peter, and I've got the other group of managing brokers in the BC area that are like super strong. So even though I don't necessarily need them, my sphere, my agents could use them, the other realtors in BC, which means the quality of the realtor working at EXP is going to rise because the management team or the brokers are only focused on brokerage activities, and they're not competing with me as a realtor. So that's a really important part. And if I might just touch on the second thing, which was the technology, and the technology of SkySlope and of the CRM system, KV Core, just to name the world, just to name a few. And you know, even the world for me personally is a great venue for the education. I'm not an avatar guy, so it's not something that is a matter of life and death for me. But when I need education, or if I need something, I just go into the world and get what I want. And which takes us to the education. So really, the education, the technology, and the management team were the top three things for me personally. You know, Todd might be different, but my stocks, let's talk about stocks for a second, because holy crap, my stocks have just like skyrocketed through the roof, and I've been buying them up outside of EXP, right? And even if they never go up $1, I've made money already.
Yeah, I know. That's a crazy. You know, it's funny that you talk about those three things. And you know, as a small brokerage before that, we had about 15 agents, and we were very, very profitable, and we were good, and we were not having pain points, or at least we didn't think we were having pain points. But when Andre, my sponsor, showed me this business, he said, all I want you to do is think, could there possibly be a better way to run your business? And just keep an open mind, right? And that's what I did. I kept an open mind. And after I watched the videos and got some information, I was like, wow. I did not want to like it, but I liked it a lot, right? And I, you know, at first I didn't want to tell anybody. So then I talked to my son who's in the business with me, and then I talked to a buddy out of town, and then they were like, oh my God, this is, you know, we could do this. This could happen. And now it is happening, right? So Todd, your group is growing as well, which is kind of cool. You know, you called me yesterday, and that's exciting to hear you, you know, add some more people. And it's just, you know, to build that rev share, we're not getting any younger. So to be able to build that rev share for down the road, that's going to help us as well too, right?
Well, the fun part about that, and sorry for breaking up earlier. So I just wanted to throw in two things. You know, I'd add to Vince's, you know, benefits of EXP, and I'll just throw in, you know, one last one. So I capped early. You know, I sell enough houses to cap pretty quickly, but I capped, and then I just hit icon last month as well. So, you know, what a benefit to be able to receive all of those benefits back from the company, And, I won't go into detail on it, but, talk about paying your agents first. I was in the business of being a broker and taking money from agents because it was the only way the business model worked. Now, I'm an agent, earning revenue, and it feels like none of it's going to the brokerage because of all the benefit I'm getting back. It's spectacular.
Yep.
So, and yes, it's exciting to share EXP with a new agent whose mind is open to it anyway. It's always difficult to talk to somebody about anything, when their mind's closed to it. But if somebody's mind is open and they'll just sit and listen to it, I love watching the eyes light up. I love watching the jaw drop. As you start to unpeel the onion a little bit and get down into the layers. Those those four pillars there, you really only need to get to two of them, and people are just ready to sign up because it is unbelievably too good to be true. And but it is true, all of it. Everything that is happening is true. And geez, what are the numbers at now? And we're over 45,000 people in North America. Canada is going to double its size in a year.
Yeah.
So
Didn't I
underway.
see some more growth yesterday? Didn't I see it? Was it yesterday or the day before? I saw a post.
Yeah, Puerto Rico, Brazil, Italy, Vince. Italy.
I know, I saw that. That's Italy.
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow! I think I'll go to Italy. Italia.
The next Team Canada meeting is in Italy.
Well,
yeah, that would be really good.
This is how crazy this is. I have somebody in my group that's talking to people in Mexico right now, coming over in Mexico, and we're going to be in Mexico, and we're in the U.S. But this is the coolest thing. Like I said in the beginning, when I had my brokerage, I could never, ever attract people like you, right? Now we are attracting all kinds of like-minded entrepreneurs, good agents, people that own their own companies and things like that. So there's got to be something good about it. Right? There's got to be something good about it. But anyway, Vince, if you had any advice, now that you know what you know, if you had any advice for anybody, what would you say to them about EXP? If they're contemplating it or they've seen it or whatever.
I think if you've seen the model, you kind of had some hesitation about it, you need to go back to it and get a real understanding of what it was. And remember, you said that 3 years ago when I was introduced to it, I was given the wrong impression. And all along, I never dove into it well enough to get a clear understanding because I had that first negative impression of what it was. And so I think that if you should go back to it, you should allow yourself, and I think Todd, you said this, you should allow yourself to, no, you did, Pierre, you should allow yourself to realize that there's a potentially different way to do business. And the second part of it is that if you've never seen it, don't let anybody dissuade you from what it truly is. And you need to come and talk to me. I'm happy to talk to you, but I'm pretty new at this. But I know well enough to know that 3 years from now, what my life is going to look like significantly different than it is today. But that's not because I have a bad life today. It's just part of the growth process in your life and transitioning to the future. And if you're somewhere in that 25 to 40 years of range and you're like wondering what your future is going to look like, I can spell it out pretty good. I was 40 years old working my ass off in the trenches every single day. And if I would have joined EXP 40 years ago when it didn't exist, I'd be a millionaire today.
And there's been a lot of millionaires created, right? We're we have partners that are, multimillionaires now because of this company, and they only joined less than 5 years ago. And
well, I think to be clear, you'd be a millionaire as a partner in the company because of the share value. That's what it is, right?
Yeah. No, that too.
There are some people who are doing really well.
There's some people doing very well. Yeah.
I still like selling real estate. I enjoy that part.
And so do I. And that's the part that I do like. I didn't like all the other crap, right? And I got away from that because my skills started getting big, and I wanted to grow a company. But at the end of the day, I don't care about the company. I care about what's left in my pocket, right? What's left for my family at the end of the day. Now I have revenue share that I have an income rate now that you talk about not having a pension or anything like that, but I've got this revenue already after just not even a year and a half that I can will to my children, or my wife, or, you know, if I pass away. Like that's huge, right? So anyways, guys, you know what? We're all excited. We're all fired up. And I wanted to thank you guys for coming on today and sharing your story. I really appreciate it. And I'm just so excited to be in business with you guys. And I can't wait to see what the next 2 to 3 years looks like for us. So thanks again for joining us, guys.
Thanks, Pierre. Welcome
Hey,
aboard,
thanks very
Vince.
much for having us. Thank you very much. Looking forward to it. So far, it's been, speaking about revenue share, I got my first 2 revenue shares the other day, and it was actually quite surprising already how much it was, just based on the few people that I had under me. That was a pretty nice bonus.
You told me that yesterday. Well, tell them it's okay. I mean, I don't care. It doesn't matter, but it's nice.
You know what? It was like an extra. It was a couple of grand. It was a couple of grand that I didn't realize was there because I wasn't following it. I went online into the program, and there it was. There was an account with $2,000 in it. Yeah, and that's like bonus money.
I know.
You know, that was really kind of neat to see. I can only imagine what other people are getting. You know.
Well, it gets cool because I go in there every day, sometimes twice a day. I'm not gonna lie, and just to see like how many people have joined the group, how it's growing, and it's exciting. It's fun. So, anyways, and you know what? That's the other thing. You got to have fun, guys. Right? We got to have some fun. Life is short, and we got to make sure that we're all having a good time. If you're going to work every day and you're dreading walking into the office, or you're dreading seeing your broker or some of the agents in your office, that's not fun anymore, right? Like, you got to have a good time, and that's what we're all about. And Todd knows that because we've traveled together.
You know what amazes me, sort of, if I can, I know we're dragging on a little bit, but you know what amazes me is the quality of agents that are being attracted to the company. Like that's pretty amazing stuff to sort of see. And you know what? I'm going to toot my own horn here. For 3 of us had pretty good little businesses. Yeah. We didn't, and we saw I'm not going to say I drank the Kool-Aid, but I definitely saw the value of the future of the industry and what's going to happen in the real estate industry.
But I think you and I talked
more
about
so
this
than anything else. Right? And that was positive.
Like you and I talked about this the other day. Like, you didn't have to move. You did, like, you financially, you're doing well already, right? And that was the same. That's the same with us. We were doing great, but I'm always looking to do better. Right.
The strategy is, where are you going to be in a few years? Like, where would I be a couple of years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? And so I could have stayed doing exactly what I was doing, and in 3 years from now or 5 years from now, I'd still be doing exactly what I'm doing. I don't want to be doing that. I want to continue to invest in as a person, as a human, as a realtor, as a business person, as a coach, as a mentor, father, grandpa, all of those things. And I think that the evolution of growth requires that you have to come out of your comfort zone sometimes and scare the crap out of yourself and jump off a ledge. And I did. And I'm freaking free falling with a parachute.
Free falling. That's it. All right, guys.
With a parachute. With a parachute.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you got the parachute.
You didn't fall far.
Yeah. All right.
Banged my head a couple of times.
Yeah. Okay, guys, have a great weekend, and thanks again for your time. Really appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Pierre. See you.